So anyway, you were telling about how, you know, the 80s.
The 80s, yeah. So Age of Fire started in the 80s. I guess we disbanded once I moved up here. I came up to Virginia in '93, and studied classical music in Tenwin, and then I remastered. I had the old original tapes on literal tapes.
So I remember hearing those, yeah.
2-inch tapes, and then I kind of remastered that, and I threw it up on. Well, there wasn't even an online to throw it up to on the time, and then I was like, huh. And then I think like another decade later, the internet was, all the rage.
Yeah, it was this thing, it was like all these little tubes and stuff.
And so I was like, well, that's cool. So I remastered it again. I think I did another track or two, and as like little bonus tracks, and chucked it up there. And I just loved it. I thought it was just fun. I loved kind of being back in that genre again. And I did another album. I did all the stuff, and then used a studio drummer overseas, send me the tracks, and that was cool. And I tagged in Mike and Laura here in Charlottesville to do the Shade to Shadow album, and then the pandemic hit, and so
I remember that.
Yeah, we got hit by. Yeah, I mean, we signed on to an Italian label, Slipchick Records, we still work with, and then then the pandemic hit. I think everybody kind of lost their minds. I think she went off to get her master's. I got my master's in music, and then he's a doctor, so he wanted to move his practice out of his house, and then by the time we got the green light to return to civilization, everybody was doing different things, and Rick and I started working together, I guess immediately, and we did the EP Through the Tempest, which came out
2022?
2 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, 2022.
I think the first single we released for Halloween, The Children of the Night, I think even before that, was we 21. And then I used the same drummer over there. We didn't have a drummer yet. And then our producer, JJ, introduced us to Bill.
Those are digital drum tracks, right? Like
those are digital, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, just time, it just worked out that way. And so then we tagged in Bill. And then we've been doing live shows since January of last year. We released a live album October of last year. Something we did in Richmond last year.
That's not the Tempest.
Live from the Tempest.
Live from the Tempest.
Yeah. So the EP was Through the Tempest, and then the live album was Live from the Tempest. So, and then we've been working on a new album all winter called From the Forge. So, boom, that's what we've been doing all winter, getting ready for new shows.
So how there's the genesis, the kernel. How did you guys get sucked into this guy's behavior pattern?
I was in a band with their producer that I ended up leaving, and he knew that I was looking for another project to do, and so he kind of made that connection there, put us together, thought I'd be a good fit.
The right kind of project.
Yeah, I think that was it. I mean, Bill loves metal, thank God, but finding a metal drummer in the woods here is tough. I mean, that was always the hardest part, was to find someone here that's a metal drummer.
And I wasn't playing metal before, so I don't know that I'm necessarily a metal drummer, but I guess I am now.
You've been umbrellaed in.
Yeah.
So
I've always liked metal. I've always kind of studied it on the side, but most of my gigs were like either pop or more traditional blues, rock and roll, or even I've done country before, like alt country.
I think we've all done country before.
No.
If you live here.
I have not gotten my country merit badge.
Yeah.
Although there was some night I was doing old timey stuff, but that was mostly for the moonshine.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even put a Telecaster in the same room as him.
No, it's true.
You got to find one that's fluorescent yellow. If he's got
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I saw John 5 the other night. That was all tellies all night long.
Oh, all right.
That's enough.
Without the twang.
Sort of.
No, there was twang.
They all have bunkers on them, so they're.
That's right. Still has that overtone. Something about that overtone just gets me.
Either you like him or you love him.
Yeah.
How did you get sucked into this orbit here?
Through one of his vacations.
It's true. It's true.
One of his vacations.
Oh, we did all play together in a hip hop band for like a show.
I don't even know what.
No, that was just you and me.
Well, yeah. So there's a local band, Vibe Riot, and are they hip hop? I don't know what I would call them. R&B.
Vibe
They
Riot?
do rap.
It's
They do
hip-hop.
reggae. They
Well,
do.
that kind of puts them in sort of somewhere in hip hop,
It's hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
as opposed to hip hop.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of
Right.
that sort of.
So I was, and at the time I wasn't really performing out, and I guess I did a gig. Believe it or not, I was backing up a couple ladies doing like
Why
Indigo.
did you point at them when you said a couple of
Ladies.
ladies?
Well, that's just where they were. Nothing.
Just in case that makes it to the video, you need. No, there's not. They're,
That's right.
It's all right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyway,
Right.
It is
For those who are listening to this on the book on
It's
tape.
that show.
Yeah, it is 2024.
That's right.
Use whatever bathroom you want. I'm good with it.
Woo! The
Just don't need to see it. I
Kurt
don't
Cobain
care.
used to perform in drag.
I ain't gonna go. Yeah, I ain't gonna go look.
and Bon Scott.
Just leave me alone.
You know. But anyway, so yeah, I was backing them up doing like an Indigo's girls tunes and for the show, and so got introduced to Jay War, who's kind of the head of Vibe Riot, and he's like, hey, I need a guitar player if you need someone. I was like, sure, whatever. And then I got a call a few months later. I think they're doing something down at Hicks or whatever, and I was like, sure. And then I was in with them for a while, and then I don't know, was it the? Oh no, that's right. So it was right before the pandemic started, and I had a gig. They had a gig coming up, and I was in Austria. I had a thing going on in Austria, and so they tagged in Rick to do the guitar part for that, and then the pandemic hit. I mean, I came back. It was like,
Was that Vibe Fest in like 2019? I think
Yeah.
I played that with Girl Fight. So I think,
oh, that's funny.
but I wasn't. But I played it, but not in Vibe Riot.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
I wasn't there.
No.
No.
And then during the pandemic, we tried to do. I guess we did play some. Him and I worked together as guitar players in this band, and we did a couple shows together.
Yeah, we did maybe 2 or 3 shows.
Yeah, and but then I still got the metal itch, and then we just started talking, and it just kind of evolved. Doing,
So-
Because I've always been into to metal and hard rock. You know, just hadn't really played it before.
and versed in guitar and bass.
Yeah.
And so, have you? I tried playing with him once early on, and I discovered just how difficult it is to play metal when you grew up with Motown. For me,
Yeah.
I had a hard time finding that drive when I was used
Well,
to that sort of.
I never played it before.
Really?
I
Yeah.
always enjoyed it, metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always played a little bit of everything, you know. Not so much country. I mean, I've done a little bit.
Well, we all get stuck,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
We all have choices.
Some of them are bad.
I don't regret it at all. I had a great time.
I don't have I do have a cowboy hat, but I'm all cattle. I mean, all hat, no cattle. Anyway, continue on. But I don't know. I was talking to him. So.
Yeah, no, please.
So-
Continue on.
So I filled in for Greg while he was away, and then sort of stayed with Vibe Riot, and then Greg came back, and then we tried doing the thing together. And I don't know, Vibe Riot is kind of a weird situation where you get like a bunch of people coming in here and there, whoever's available. So it just never.
It's kind of a rotating cast of folks that.
Yeah.
With
And
the captain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's how we met, and that's a good thing.
I mean, that can work. Like, that's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff.
That can work, but
Yeah.
you don't.
I was
get it.
speaking about the rotating thing. There was
Yeah.
one gig in Stanton that the drummer that I usually sat in with us couldn't do it, and then Bill played, which I forgot about.
It was a clock tower.
and we were,
Ah.
Clock tower.
and so we were like, I guess we were whatever. I guess when we met or whatever, we were hanging out having drinks, and we're like, wait, we played together already, and like, oh, okay, but it wasn't like this at all.
Do you remember who opened for us on that? It was like 2 guys both playing guitar and doing like really bad, like Nirvana covers and like getting the lyrics wrong, and that was something.
Well, I wouldn't know, but
Here
I was,
we are now. You can blame us. Wait a minute, what? That's
Yeah.
not right.
I
Yeah.
was, yeah.
It's like
Go online and
Yeah.
go and flame us.
yeah,
No,
I think it
that's
was.
not it.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
The
I,
Weird
I
Al
think it was,
version.
I think it was
unintentionally.
Heart Shaped Box they were playing, and
Oh.
yeah, they definitely
So-
didn't quite get it right.
So-
Heart-shaped crotch. I
So-
don't know.
I hate it when that
So,
happens.
You know, there are days.
So- so Vibe Riot is kind of the reason we're together.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
Oh.
true.
I guess. Well, I mean, JJ for me, I think.
Yeah, JJ. Yeah.
But you know me. I mean, you've known me for decades. I mean, we've tried to do I've been trying to do a metal thing for a long time.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And I can't believe I haven't known him for decades because,
Well, you guys, because you've been in the music scene around here for,
yeah,
you
Yeah.
know, and how you didn't bump up against it is.
I know it's.
We did a lot of life stuff. I mean, I just kind of live in a different world, you know, my own little world. I'm not always.
Now that I believe.
Yeah, it's true.
I still can't believe your daughter isn't this big anymore, but that's another
She's
story.
18 in 10 days.
Cause I remember going to see Gary's band, Modern Logic.
Yeah, yeah.
And the drummer for Modern Logic was in a band I was in called, what's the band called? Linda.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Linda. I was a bass player in Linda.
Awesome.
And so there's all kinds of bands.
Well, let's, you know, how, and one of the things we started when we started this thing, as I was listening to pretty much everything y'all have on Spotify over the last couple of days, how do you describe this band? First off, metal, I've talked to a guy who was a bass player I worked with, and I said, oh cool, what do you play? You know, he said, well, I play in a band. I said, well, that's good. That's usually where bass players go, because it's really hard to play, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it's a metal band. I said, great, what kind of metal? And he said, emo screamo. And I've never heard of that. And then I ran into somebody who was straight edge, and then, so all of a
Like
sudden,
James Hetfield.
there's like
I thought
thousands
that was
of like
punk.
little
No, he's straight
divisions.
edge now,
There's
man.
thrash metal, there's crash metal, there's death
Death
metal, there's
Black metal.
Grindcore.
yeah, you know,
there's,
and
Metalcore.
metalcore.
Guar, and
Guar.
Yeah,
one
they're
of my
kind of their own
favorites.
little.
Yeah, I love Guar.
There's no one like them.
I got to talk to Blothar for an interview. And he's got a doctorate's degree in music from UVA, so
Nice.
we did it. Smart guy. But where do you guys fall? I mean, I can hear a little bit of punk here and there. You know, I hear some melodic, but it doesn't.
Melodic punk.
Well, I mean,
That'd be
you
a new
don't
one.
you don't have thrash without punk.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because thrash metal at its beginning was like metal played at
Yeah.
punk rock tempos with
And
punk
it's-
rock beats.
When
The solos.
when I listen to
Yeah.
Guar,
Yeah.
I really hear they're a bunch of punk rockers with a bunch of fuzz. You know, they turned up the pedal board, and they still had that sort of punk aesthetic with,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing. But you guys have a, you know, I'm listening to like some throwbacks to a little bit of Sabbath as far as the way the you know, Marie Celeste, that sort of,
Yeah.
you know,
How can you not?
yeah, like off the first Black Sabbath album where it was all this sort of dark imagery and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. And I'm catching a little bit of, I cannot remember the guy's name, Rob Zombie,
Mhm.
here and there.
Sure.
Where do you guys, you know, we seem to want to classify ourselves.
Yeah.
Where do you guys hear yourselves? And, or as somebody mentioned before, does it really frickin' matter?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think if we had, I would say progressive. I mean, maybe that's like snobbish of me, but I don't know. I think given our backgrounds and what we do, I think that fits it. I mean, you and I both. Well, obviously you do, but I also have like a classically trained background too. I mean, I started playing in band, playing concert snare drum, mallets,
Mhm.
tubular bells, timpanis, that kind
Tubular
of stuff.
bells.
Yeah,
Totally.
So you come the whole dark thing naturally if you play tubular bells.
right. Yeah.
Theme from The Exorcist. Sorry.
Well, Rush is my favorite band too, and Neil Peart was always doing that
Yeah.
stuff. Always had that.
Well, he had every drum ever invented around him.
That's
And
true.
he invented a few others to stick up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Rest in
That's
peace.
true. Yeah, I think like when asked this question, and it is true, and it becomes a marketing nightmare because you know we're just like it's metal, and you go okay, and we've been what have we been called old metal,
Old
classic
school.
metal, old school metal. You know, but I always say like our roots are kind of in thrash, but
Yeah.
definitely like some of the new album stuff is definitely more proggy than you know.
Now, I probably haven't heard anything off the new album. Okay.
Light in the Darkness is.
Oh, that's true. But actually, there is off the live album. We
Yeah.
did do a tune that's off that, which is actually more. I don't know. I don't say ballady, but there's actually clean bits where I'm singing and you know and heavier bits.
There's dynamics.
Yeah. Dynamics.
Nice.
Boom.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Don't get a lot of that in punk.
And
Well,
melody.
Well, you got, like Ron said, I was listening to some of actually pretty much everything you've done. It's on Spotify.
Thank you.
And couple of things stood out. One was Children of the Night, which is absolutely wonderfully classic dark metal, I guess. I mean, as far as the vocals and the lyrics
Yeah,
and that kind of thing,
sure.
which I really enjoyed.
It's groovy.
It is kind of groovy. And is it Seeds of Tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is dark in a whole different way.
Yes.
You know, that sounded almost, when I was talking to Blothar, he said, you know, a lot of what they're writing is, you know, because they're pissed off at what's going on.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah,
and
that was-
that had some of that, you know, the lyrics were clearly.
Well, that was a COVID song.
Was that that was a
Absolutely.
COVID song, you know.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
but there was a, you know, and I'm listening to that going, well, this is pretty. And Marie Celeste, which I mentioned. But one thing that I really enjoyed is your live version of, what is the name of that thing? I'm sorry. I've had a moment. You'll have to cut this in. Hang on.
We'll cut this out.
I had it in there. That's great too. Oh, yes, Light in the Darkness.
Oh, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
and
So that is off the new album.
that is off the new one.
Yeah.
What I really liked about it was everybody got a moment to where, you know, you had clear guitar. I'm not saying clear, but your guitar was
Not distorted.
was not. Yeah, it was not
Clean,
distorted.
it was
and you
clean.
could- It was
Clean
clean.
guitar, clean guitar.
Yeah.
And you could hear the you know, the individual notes and the
Yeah.
sort of and by that I'm sort of more of the classical style you play, but it wasn't classical, but you could.
Yeah.
So you could hear the intricacy,
Right.
the intricate maneuvers. The bass was just classic. It had this wonderful movement going on. And it was clear, and it was like nice and deep.
Yeah.
And the drums, they were a light touch.
Almost jazzy at parts.
Yeah, yes, and then it would go, yeah, and it would go into this, you know, and then boom, you come back down again.
Yeah.
And the dynamic that you would have in these different parts, just it was like everybody got a moment to show what they can do outside of the genre,
Mm-hmm.
and that to me was and live,
Yeah.
and the timing is not that easy to do live. You know, if you screw up in the studio, you can kind of
Yeah.
fudge things and put you. Although auto tune for metal, we'll get back to that later.
Oh, there's Pro Tools.
There's things.
Pro Tools has, you know, exerted its influence for
Yeah.
sure.
AI is taken over a long time ago.
Yeah.
But so how, you know, when you look at that, what is that? Did you do that on purpose? What makes that one stand out in some ways? Is that sort of boom,
Well,
and back now? What?
Greg had the beginning of the song or the idea of the song, and then he let me and Bill kind of do our thing to it, and kind of like add to it, because that's how you create things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how you come up with things that are different, and he's generous enough with his tunes to let us do that. So,
Yeah.
and it's fun doing that.
It is very fun.
I think really that's it. I think for me it was probably one of the first tunes that we did together after playing like live for a year,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and be like, all right, here's a new tune. You know, we worked up some stuff in the back catalog, but that was kind of but like it was ours, and I was like, all right, as I'm doing the clean arpeggios in the beginning, and I'm like, I want you to do a bass solo, and so like do something here, you know, to kind of set the mood, and you know, and the same thing with Bill, like, all right, let's do this and feel the space, and I think that's what's really going to be, I think, evident on the new album is like, all right, these are guys now that have been playing together for going on a couple years, and yeah,
Gee, it's called a band.
yeah, that's right.
Instead of three guys, and you know, it's a band.
Right, we're in the land of the solo artist right now. It's like everybody's gone solo in the solo project, and everyone's kind of hired guns. But you know, there's something that happens when you play together, like telepathically.
Right.
You kind of feel each other's space, what they're going to do, where they're going to go, and there's so even. I mean, it is like jazz in a way where there's that constant push and pull. You know, I mean, we don't play the same thing every way, every time. I mean, it's always, you know, the structure, yeah, but within that space, it changes, which is more proggy or like I said, that jazz.
Yeah, that's how songs develop too.
Yeah. I remember there's that great interview I remember years ago with Eddie Van Halen. He's like, I know we record an album and then we tour for it. He's like, but I wish we would record the album after the tour, because it's not until after the tour where you're really familiar with the songs.
And you know
And that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, we are kind of doing some things in the traditional way reverse to do that. So
well, you find out what the song wants to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we and playing with now we're known as To Be Fair. But to be fair, but we you know, all of a sudden you come in with something new and it fits, and you're doing old songs different than they originally.
Yeah.
And the new version's usually better. It's
yeah,
sometimes slower, sometimes faster, sometimes, you know, because you're just used to playing it together, and you can feed off that,
yeah.
you know, whatever it is that everybody else is throwing out.
Yeah, on the new album too, from the Forge, there's a couple old tunes that we've redone, and it's like we've you know, Fuel the Space, putting our stamp on it, modern production. You know, it's you know, because some of those original recordings from '89, really the first time I was ever in a recording studio.
A lot of the drum parts are pretty obscure. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. I don't think it's because of the player. I think it's because of how.
No.
Yeah, I think it's just how it was recorded.
Well, it's tape, and it's 30-year-old tape.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and
yeah.
money. Like we went into a studio and blew 5 tunes in 6 hours, and that was it. You know, I think I did vocals one day and vocals another day, and it was just, you know, we're taking time. And it's funny you mentioned Light in the Darkness. I mean, you know, we've layered guitars. I've fallen in love with EVH products, and so I've been using my EVH amp. And then producer got a hold of like one of the original 5150 amps, and so kind of mixing those up. Did a Strat on the clean bit yesterday, and an acoustic bit.
Don't tell me.
And I've
One of these days, man, it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna have to be sedated, but no. But you know, there's some acoustic stuff. There's a couple little acoustic leads here and there, but it's really, I mean, the studio version will have the structure of the live version, but it's just going to be a lot more. We're really taking time to go through, I guess, and that was recorded. The Strat was done through the AC-15, and so just really taking time to get the amps and the cover. We're just trying to like just do it right. Let's do this.
How much of your sound, and I know with Gary, he has a pedal board the size of, you know, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of your sound is the result of the amps and the pedals and you know, and do you guys you know, do anything with the bass and with, I don't know what, I guess with the drums you really don't have pedals. Well, you do have pedals. You got the hi-hat, and, you know. That
Whoa, yeah. Well,
nothing
you know,
except
the drum sound, I think, in metal, especially these days, is sort of unique for its lack of being fucked with. You know what I mean? Like I don't use triggers, which, I mean, it's nothing against it, I guess. It's just not for me. I like a natural, resonant drum sound, and a lot of metal these days is done with triggers, where you can kind of alter it in real time, even.
Oh, it's compressed.
And the bass has a nice, solid, I want to say dark feel, but it's kind of got a dark chocolate as opposed to milk chocolate. You know, It doesn't have the high kind of thing, but it's got this low. But are you using any pedals? It sounds like it's pretty clean, and it's just
It is
EQ.
pretty clean. It is pretty clean. I've got one pedal that I use. It's a bass driver, and that's pretty like, it's like an EQ type pedal, and it's a direct pedal as well. So if my amp ever goes out, I've got that.
You can go to front of house.
Yeah. So that and, you know, Gallion Kruger amps, which is what I love.
Yeah, GK is
Yeah.
good.
And that's all I've got for bass.
I've fallen in love with Gensler.
You know, and the EP was recorded with my Rickenbacker.
Oh,
4000.
you're not Rick with a pick on a
Huh?
Rick, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Gary always tells me, Rick with a pick on a Rick. Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I'm like, so
that's-
you want Rick
that's
on a
good.
pick?
That's good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you
That's
know.
good.
Oh, that's funny.
You got
Yeah.
Jake on a Drake. That's all I think.
Yeah.
Is that how you get in the band?
That's I have a good bass, I suck. But I have a good bass and a good amp. I got a Gens Benz that I used to absolutely love. But
Oh, yeah, a guy in the other band I'm in has a Gens Benz.
But I think having that Rick's tone also helps. Like for me, since I'm the only guitar player, like as I kind of wander, that he's holding it down and it's and he's so present, in the mix or on stage, whatever. And it's just that oof.
And that's a unique thing too, is only having one guitar. I think we're a power trio in metal. That's not
Not very common.
super
I
common.
was gonna say, I was trying to think if
Yeah.
there's any other trios in metal that I can think of.
There are.
There are.
I remember when it was like a year and a half ago. I saw Overkill in North Carolina, and
Are they-
there's a 3-piece opened up for them.
I think
the
when I s-
opening act, not Overkill, but the opening act was.
Yeah, I think when I saw Prong, it was just 3.
I think that's who it was. It was Prom. That's
Yeah.
totally who it was.
And they're super groovy.
Yeah, no, they're
So
fun.
that-
They're a
yeah.
fun band.
Yeah.
Well, let's, because I'm a gearhead.
Gee, me too.
Yeah, I have way too many guitars,
Me too.
not enough amps,
I
but
think I sold you a few of those.
you sold me a few of those. I actually sold a couple at the store too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in there playing, and some guy came in and said, "Hey, I'm looking for something for my kid." I'm like, really?
Wait, do you work in music and arts?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I just
Like,
came in on my lunch hour, and this guy came in and said, "I'm looking for a bed." I'm just, and he said, "What do you recommend?" I said, "Well, is he just starting?" He said, "Yeah." So we started talking to the guy. I said, "Well, I got to tell you, there's a couple of really nice." And the Mezzo had just come out.
Okay.
Ivan has Mezzo. He's a little kid. So I was like, it's 32 inch. It sounds good.
Right.
And that Yamaha up there, the Mango, is just so I played a couple of them for him, and then he goes, I really like this one. I said, I don't think you can go wrong with that. It'll be fine. You can play it forever.
Yeah.
You got the Yamaha, and it's
Nice.
a PJ, and so he goes, okay, and he's standing there. I'm like, what? He goes, well, aren't you gonna check me out? I'm like, oh no, I don't work here. You want to talk to the guy up there?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, no, I'm just here on lunch.
Did you get a commission from that?
That's nice. That's too funny.
You know what?
Yeah.
The more we talk, the more familiar you are to me. I did see you guys play at the Southern.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably where we met.
Yes, that could be some. Were you?
And I
did you play
remember.
with didn't we do a trio or
Wait a
something?
minute.
With
With
Linda,
With Linda.
and I
Yeah.
think was Girl Fight in that then? Who was our third?
I don't
I don't
know.
think so.
No,
Was it a
Huckleberry Finn or somebody like that?
I used to
Studebaker
be in Girl
Huck.
Fight.
Studebaker House.
Studebaker Huckins. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why. That's
Yeah.
I used to
funny
be in
that-
Girl Fight.
Huh?
That was the band I used to be in before.
But we
this was
we
Girl
actually
Fight.
we played at the Southern with 7th grade Girl Fight.
When was that?
That was
I think I remember that show too.
boy, that was
Were you guys on the same bill?
2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
2018.
Something like
Well,
that.
that would have been me. Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been me.
Because Gary and I go way back, so.
Yeah, because I know he had, because we had, I still got the little poster Gary made up.
Were you
With,
playing bass or guitar?
It was
Yeah.
Trio or something like
Yeah.
that. Was the
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
thing,
Yep.
And welcome to Charlottesville.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Were you getting a lot of low end on that stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It right back then I was using the hard key, which blew up, and so it kicked back, so I could actually get it going, so it wasn't. But yeah, on the when I use the Gens Benz, it just that 15 inch just rumbles the stage.
Yeah.
and you just get this.
Yeah, I'm using 10s now, so.
Yeah, it's
a lot tighter and not better.
I mean, I love the 15. Just the first amp I ever played through was an Ampeg B18
Right.
in '74 or something. The guy down the street let me borrow it. God, that was awesome. Flip it up,
Yeah.
and it glows, and all the tubes would glow. And you could turn off all the lights and pretend you were on, because the tubes,
Yeah.
and the tubes would make the room 10 degrees warmer and about,
Yeah.
But that big 18-inch speaker, which they don't like, but
Anyway,
anyway,
there's nothing like analog sound, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
I think that's a thing that we're about too.
and the Benz does that,
Yeah.
But,
Well,
but
it's
it
true.
also weighs 50 pounds, and I'm getting freaking old. So,
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's one thing when we first started the process for this album is we went to a bunch of studios in the area, and we were very adamant about we wanted the drums to sound like
drums were
drums.
the number one
We didn't
thing.
and let's get the drums sounding good, and just gonna build from there. But actually, most of the original tracks, we kept the drums and then bass, and then I've been kind of adding layers over it, and it's but that was a biggie, was to get like, and it's amazing because so many people are like, oh, we'll just take this, we'll plug it into the computer. We're like, no, we want to save the computer as last as possible. We don't want everything digitized or compressed. We want it to be before you leave. I can play a snippet of
We didn't even use a click track on everything.
that's true.
You did or did not?
Did not.
Yeah. So actually, I think so far the only one we've done is Light in the Darkness, just because.
Well, it's a little bit hard. Yeah, that's a little bit because you're not.
It's a different tune.
Yeah, and you've got this, and then boom, and then it comes back down.
Yeah.
And then boom. So you want to make sure you get that boom
Yeah.
right.
The boom ditty, it's going.
And we do it. We were recording with Tim Ryan's studio, which is beautiful. Yeah.
Not familiar.
Yeah, dude, I can't remember the name of it, but man, it's an amazing studio. Tim's a fascinating guy, and a bass player, so pressure was on. But we recorded a song that we do, which has a lot of stops and starts and weird things, and I don't know how we threw it all together. It was probably the first song that the three of us actually. Gary came in, he's got the basic song, and then we just kind of screwed with it.
Yeah.
And Tim came out of the he punches in over the the studio speakers. Goes, you guys realize you have 4 time signatures in there, and 3 of them are like 9/8 or something weird. We're like, yeah, we did that on purpose. And he's like, yeah, no, you didn't.
9/8.
It's just weird. Kind of
Yeah.
weird. It was just like we were messing around in the basement, and that's how it turned out. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty
That stuff's fun.
But then, because going back, and then you can punch back and make this thing coherent. But as a gearhead, what's your guitar? What's your amp?
Oof. When? Where?
Now,
Now. Okay.
if
So.
you guys were to hit the stage tonight,
Okay.
what would your gear be that you would take on stage?
All right. So yesterday when I was in the studio, it was just direct. I mean, I had no pedals. I had no nothing. It was just boop, went straight into this 5150 amp. I mean, I don't know. I know I do have a bunch of pedals. I don't use them much, except for the tuner. I mean, I have a wah that I'll play maybe 1 or 2 tunes. Last year I played mostly my solar guitar.
It's that fluorescent yellow one that you can't miss on the videos.
That's the one.
Sounds good. Too,
It's very cool. Yeah, I got an endorsement for them over the pandemic. And I still have my old Samick, which I've had since the '80s, which I love that thing. And then, but for this album, I wanted to get something different, like tonally different. So I picked up a Schecter, which has a Sustainiac and an active pickup. I wanted something to really, and I've just fallen in love with that. I play that a lot.
Schecter's kind of got a name in metal.
Yeah, for sure. And I've had one once before,
6
but
string, 7 string, 8 string.
this is a 6. Yeah. So far, no 7s on this album.
Yeah, that's just the work of Satan.
Yeah, I have a same guitar. I have a 7.
It's like anybody.
Not
that
there's
plays
anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
No.
And but like a guy.
Not metal.
I know a bunch of jazz guys that play 6-string basses. Now you got to look at it kind of weird. Like you really want to be a guitar player, don't you? But
Yeah, unless you're Les Claypool.
they're also bigger than me, and they can kick my butt. So
Right. So yeah, right now I have just fallen in love with the Schecter. I'm just
and your amp on stage, or do you go
The
direct
EVH.
to FOH?
Yeah, the
EVH.
EVH. Yeah, I got that out amped a couple years ago, and it's just I don't know, I love it. It's got everything. There's I won't go into brands, but like some stuff I like the heavies, stuff I like the cleans, but I never really liked them both. The EVH kind of really gives me the
Kinda does
best.
all.
Yeah.
And what are you playing?
I'm playing currently a Dean Z tour bass.
Cool.
What it looks like is a jet black Explorer.
Oh, okay.
I can show you a picture of it.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exhibit
It's got EMGs on it. I've done work too because
P and J's or
No,
J's?
just 2 basically humbuckers,
Humbuckers.
like soap bar type.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of a jazz configuration. It's got master volume, blend, and it's got a concentric knob, low and then high.
4 or 5?
It's 4.
4?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with a 5. I've messed with them. I'm going, okay, here's this big string that.
Yeah, it keeps getting in the way.
Yeah, it keeps getting in the way. So I've got that, and I've got a Solar 4-string that I have been playing like almost exclusively when we go on the road and stuff. It's like every picture you've seen of me, you know, I've got that bass. So I'm gonna try the Dean for the next few gigs.
And you say so it's the same company as
Mhm.
what color is it?
It's natural wood.
Oh, okay.
Wood,
Oh, gee, you should have got
you know.
fluorescent
And
orange back there.
I thought about it for a second.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
For a second.
It's like, yeah, what? No. Hey, what do you got?
Oh, I've got a DW design acrylic kit right now. 22-inch bass, 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch toms. I've got a 14-inch hand-hammered brass Mapex Black Panther snare drum. I've got a 16-inch Master Sound hi-hat. 18-inch crash, 16-inch crash, 18-inch Meinl China cymbal, 22-inch Zildjian sweet ride cymbal. I've got Trick direct drive double pedals. Yeah, that about covers it.
So what do you guys want to when you're looking at what's going on and Charlotte? You know, this town, Charlottesville, doesn't really have a metal scene to speak of that I'm aware of. But it's
Well, we're
you know,
working on it.
Guar just sold out. So
Yeah?
you know, there's been a couple of actual gigs with a couple of different. So maybe it's growing back up. Well, you know, is metal the evil satanic influence everybody thought it was in the 70s, or have you become mainstream metal now?
Ooh.
Is metal basically Taylor Swift with a better attitude, or oh God, don't say that, or the Swifties will be able.
Yeah, be careful.
You guys want to address that first?
Go ahead.
Okay, you tell them I'm bursting at the seams.
Yeah, you got the history. So.
Yeah.
The word metal took a just kind of a bad societal, stigmata to the whole thing, and I don't think people hear metal, they go, "Ugh," but they hear heavy distorted guitar, they're cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking like Nina Strauss was on tour with Demi Lovato, and it's like she's playing heavy guitar behind pop music, or Avril Lavigne. It's got a lot of punky, chunky kind of stuff going on. I think it's content, but they never say they're playing metal. You know what I mean? And so you're like, so what's metal if we're, gonna wear face makeup and leather and spikes and Spitfire,
That's
whatever.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
Scare people.
yeah, it's just I mean, there's the shock rock thing. It's not really our vibe. I think we just like to play. We like the tone, we like to play, and
We don't dress up. We don't dress
This
up.
is
No.
it. This is
Yeah,
our
this is
stage
it,
here.
yeah.
In costumes. It's pretty much is it. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I've noticed that you guys don't at all resemble Slipknot.
no,
No.
or
No,
do.
well that's
Or do.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think it is that weird connotation. But and I remind people all the time, like the best-selling album of the last 30 years is Metallica's Black Album. It's like, but then you look at the charts from today, and you're like, whoa, what happened? You know what I mean? And you still have all these bands that are going around, your Poisons and Rats and.
I thought Aqualung was the best-selling metal album of all time.
That's
Oh,
right.
that was Crest of a Knave that won the
Yeah.
Grammy
Yeah.
over.
Was it Crest of the Nave?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was before the Black Album.
That was before the Black
That
Album.
was-
I love Jethro Tull.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're great.
I never thought of them as metal, but
No,
I
they're
don't
not.
do it either.
But
Oh, but check out
Yeah.
Iron Maiden's cover of Cross-Eyed Mary. Very, very cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
It is actually very cool.
there's a lot of double kick in Jethro Tull,
Yeah.
especially later.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think it's it's a society thing. But I think it's also in the States, because you look at anywhere else, metal's huge.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, in Finland, there's far more metal bands per capita than there are. Of course, it's Finland, so
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
much to do.
You say metal to just about any
Yeah.
body on the street, and they immediately think of just crazy guitars and rah vocals. We
Yeah.
call it
Cookie Monster.
Cookie
vocals.
Monster vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, it's everywhere. But I mean, I remember when I was like a year and a half ago, I was in Ireland, and it was like, you'd walk down the street, and everybody's got like a Metallica shirt or Motorhead shirt or
Yeah.
Dead Kennedy shirt, and you're like, this is cool. Like I've dived down
And you can tell by that they probably have listened to those bands.
Yeah.
They can name 3 songs.
Yeah, they could name 3 songs. Yeah, but can they name the bass player?
Well,
Yeah.
only you would ask.
Let me-
Even my wife can't name the bass player. Hey, dear, who's the bass player? To be fair. Oh shit.
You're married to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of looks like.
Wait a minute, you said you were a musician.
Gotcha. Too late now.
Uh,
But yeah, it's a weird thing, and like you said, there's so many subgenres. and-
yeah, that's what screws people up too. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, it's like they don't say, what kind of metal are you? They just say metal and they run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's I never realized there were that many. And I listened to emo screamo, and I don't really understand why they call it that, but it was
Right.
it's
Right.
just kind of like I guess it's for Spotify so that you can like class yourself somewhere.
Keep jumping into somebody's.
Oh, but
playlist.
this,
Yeah.
but the ridiculous divisions of subgenres in metal predate Spotify.
Oh no, for sure. Well, and it's like even when Laura was in the band, they're like, oh, you're female fronted metal. I'm like, that doesn't describe the sound.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. Not at all.
Is that a
That
a
is a
genre? Female fronted?
Yeah, it is. But you're like, but even with them, they all sound different. Like any other musician. They have their
You
own.
talking about Burning Witches?
Burning
Well, I was
Witches.
thinking Burning Witches. I
Like
think
Jimmy.
of,
I would-
Evanescence,
yeah.
Nightwish. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
Well, technically, Burning Witches is power metal. Arch Enemy
Yeah.
is what, melodic death metal? Like,
Yeah,
See,
a lot of death metal.
yeah.
A lot of
With,
death metal.
with the Cookie Monster vocals.
yeah.
Music
Yeah,
with
I know
melody.
that song.
What a novel concept. I mean.
Yeah.
And it's a gorgeous woman singing that.
Well, now there, then I like it.
I mean,
Well, I think that's a female fronted metal. Take my money.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. You had the times in the '80s where you had these dudes that were singing really, really high, and so I mean, it just makes sense,
Oh.
to do it. Although you have Alyssa, that's not
We
a
mentioned-
singer.
Whiskey Gunner.
We did not mention Whiskey Go.
Oh, mentioned. Actually, that's right. You guys played at the famous Whiskey A Go Go. Did you have ladies in cages on?
No.
No,
They did not go. They went.
They
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So
We
yeah,
had
we
Burning
did.
Witches.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
opened up for Burning Witches at the Whiskey last December, which was pretty amazing.
Well, metal is far more, like you mentioned, far more popular in Europe, and you guys are doing pretty well in Europe, from what
We
I
did all right.
understand. You get some good reviews. When are you going to go tour?
In Europe? Or
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we're
you
gonna
can
do-
tour here too, but I bet Europe will have you over quicker.
Yeah,
They seem to bring everybody over quicker.
Yeah, I
It's-
think,
things have to be right.
Yeah.
We've definitely had offers, but it's the economics of it.
Has
you
to
know,
make
Yeah.
sense.
To
Yeah.
get us over there
I
and
don't
try
lose
to
my
get
shirt.
right at the
we've
back
got,
line.
We've got like big bands, well-known bands, international bands canceling tours because they can't afford to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Didn't Anthrax just do that?
Yeah.
I think they
Bunch of
did it. Yeah,
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still not rosy.
yeah.
To do
The music scene seems to be kind of weird right now. If you're Taylor or a couple of folks, Stones,
Right.
you can.
Yeah.
But I don't have, I'm like most people. I don't have $200 to drop on a ticket.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah, exactly,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's insane.
Especially if I go out and listen to somebody that's equally as good doing their own stuff.
Yeah.
10 blocks down the street or 10 miles over. Or something,
Right. Sleep in your own bed.
Sleep in my own bed.
Right.
Yeah. I save me money and.
Right. Yeah. It's it's definitely been talked about. But yeah, we've kind of making it right and time and work and schedule. And
Yeah.
right now our focus has been getting the new album out. I think people will love it, like I said, especially since we've been playing together for a while. And then we'll see. But you know, if the offers are right and the timing's right, then you know,
Do it.
yeah, not opposed to it at all.
Yeah.
For sure.
Everybody's got jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, Age of Fire doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, no, I feel that pain.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at. Well, he's talking about Spotify. I mean, all the streaming services.
Yeah, we were a trio as well, and we had to fight over the 17 cents that we got for, you know, like 1 million streams. So
Yeah.
you get 17 cents, and how do you divide that 3 ways?
We just put it in the band fund.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's
That might cover the tax on your next purchase.
yeah. Bass player needs a new set of picks.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. I got that set up. Well, cool.
Hi, well, you guys got anything else you want to anything you want to tell the folks out there? You know, like
No.
you're more. Let's see. You like Beethoven, especially his poems or anything like that.
What was the second one? Beethoven's poems? Is that
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It's a Ringo Starr thing. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm
Actually,
older
we
than
both
y'all.
really do
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
We both talk about Beethoven a lot.
We do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how we started the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
thought
started
Beethoven
today
was the
asking
guy
me
that
about
wrote
the.
for ELO a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking about the Seventh Symphony this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
No, that's about it. Like I said, we're just working on a new album. We got some shows coming up. We actually signed on to a couple summer festivals. One in
Looking
state,
forward
one
to
out of
this
state. Yeah, so we got
Sounds
some
cool.
cool things coming. So
Come out March 16th to the Southern,
in Charlottesville. yeah,
Charlottesville.
So that's
Support.
Age of Fire, guys, and you have to give these super secret
Support.
signs.
Support the
Yeah.
metal
Super
scene.
secret. Yes, no one knows this.
No one knows
Yeah.
this one, do they?
I'll do the Def Leppard one.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That would just be like. Sorry.
That's
Is that too dark?
No, it's all right.